me just making a shitload of money off of like porn games.
She's got balls. Yeah, she can hit you with her balls.
It doesn't even have to be like porn. Like it could I could just do like visual novels or some shit.
I play Cam Commando when I go to bed.
Like you would just be like gooning for that long.
The Q in QA stands for corking it.
I need to close this tab.
Any boulders in the chat? Boulders.
Any boulders?
Hmm.
Big fan of Strike Through, I've got to say.
I don't know what strike through is. Is that brick break from like Pokemon?
No, it's when you put a line through
when you put a line through the text.
Oh.
Why
Dude, the silence after that remark was louder than what you actually said. That was insane.
I don't know why we brought that up.
I'm fucking with you.
We're striking
why?
You
the
said
lines.
bold,
Why?
and I was talking about the different ways to modify font.
Oh.
You should have just said like italicize or
You should have just
underline.
not, honestly, I think.
I could have gone a lot of directions, but I decided to go the direction where nobody would say anything. Now, was that intentional? No, I thought I'd get one laugh, but it's fine. You know, so,
I do not have the social capabilities to continue this one.
yeah, it's fine. I've considered crying at this point, so.
I thought you were gonna say I considered crime.
No, I haven't considered that. No,
You're like the
not
Joker.
yet. No, not
Is it
like
about the money?
Joker.
What the fuck are we talking about?
We're talking about
Not like the Joker,
crime.
bro.
We're talking
We're
about
talking
doing.
about
crime.
We're talking about crime,
love-
also
don't
known
you
as
love
Metroid
crime?
Yeah, I do
It's
love
also-
Metroid Crime. She's cool. She's a speedrunner.
Yeah.
Curse Crackers. Shout outs. Welcome to the
It's
podcast,
about
everyone.
drive.
It's the
about
conversation's
power.
not going to get better than this.
No,
Welcome
No,
back,
it's-
everyone.
it's really not.
I hope it gets better than that, dude. Good grief.
I just started to dissociate through these intros as a coping mechanism.
You know,
just to get through.
sometimes you have to do that.
Right.
Well, anyway, everyone, my name is Nestani.
I am Jaxler.
I am DECosmic.
Coley.
This guy is
Don't do
Coley, and today we're going to be
Coley.
talking about Evo, and specifically what we're going to talk about is how Lilypichu beat Mr. Tekken himself, the god, the goat, the kid, the buster,
We
Lilypichu.
What? That's crazy.
That's my goat.
Harada's probably decent at Tekken, but yeah, no, that was pretty cool that he agreed
Dude, she's
to play
only
her
been
in.
playing for 5 months, and she beats like one of the game's directors. I think that's fucking sick. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty cool, but I wouldn't
Like
say
5
that
months?
like. And
Come on.
I don't think anybody's writing home about Harada's
I'm
like
writing home about it.
prowess in that he's writing a letter to Lilypichu. Good job, Queen, and like sending it through the mail.
Hey,
Damn.
Harada asked for a fucking rematch. It got like 80,000 likes on Twitter.
Oh wait, he asked for a rematch.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro's
got
got
so
that
much.
dog in him.
He's about
does.
to go in the hyperbolic time chamber, dude,
he is.
and yeah, that'll be cool. That would be interesting. I don't think I've ever
That
seen.
tweet went nuclear.
I don't think I've ever seen an arc where like somebody decides to have a rivalry with like the game's director. That's like basically unheard of. So,
90,000 likes on Twitter. Jesus,
That's crazy.
Christ.
Wow.
Holy shit. So who here watched more of Evo than Lilypichu beating Harada? So Nestani, I've already got you covered.
Yeah, that's all I watched. I only watched Lilypichu's match, and then I watched nothing
it's
else.
all good. So Cole, did you watch any of Evo, or is this just a Jackson I conversation?
I saw a guy win it and then he cried because he won Evo.
Which one? You're gonna have to narrow down the crime.
The guy with like dreads and stuff.
Punk. Let's go, Punk.
Punk, yeah, Punk.
Punk
So
winning.
Yeah,
I know
his
that
name.
Punk won. I know that Sonic Fox won Mortal Kombat, I think. Punk won
Nitro
Street Fighter
as
6.
well. And Nitro won Strive.
Yeah, Nitro won Strive.
Yeah.
Leffen didn't win Strive. Unlucky.
He didn't make top 8. Well, no, he made top 8. He didn't make top 6.
He didn't make top 6. Yeah, Umi Show,
Which means I didn't
Leffen,
watch it.
Tempest NYC, none of them got top 6, which was pretty wild to see, honestly. But Nitro is like
Well, they all
a
got
world-
like upset by Red Eato.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I wouldn't really call it upsets. I would just say they got outplayed by some really good players, from what I remember.
They got
But for those that
owned.com.
don't know anything about Nitro was like, and probably still is, like a world-class Dragon Ball Fighters player. So him actually really getting his time in the sun, when the last time that I really saw this guy on a comparable stage was when he was playing on the DBFZ World Tour against Wawa. And Wawa is a French player. Wawa. Not to be confused with Wawa, the states in the Northeast.
Wawa, what I say a lot.
Wawa, Weewa.
Yeah, that one too.
Or the George Harrison song.
Shout out to Cutie Cinderella. Go on.
Word. So Wawa and like the rest of France were like the top of the food chain. It's a really strange name. Okay?
Not to be confused with the food chain Wawa.
Yeah, not to be confused with the stores in the Northeast. You know, but they were like the top of the. They were like the top of the.
He was gonna have nothing to say. Now he won't shut the fuck
now
up.
he's just going, dude.
Hey,
he was Wawa Hill.
I
Holy shit.
have nothing to say. I don't know what you're talking about.
France was like the top of the food chain in DBFZ for a long time there, with Wawa like leading the charge. Although he did get like the anime buff at one point, which I'll talk about in a second here. But Nitro was like right there, kind of alongside him, when it was really like during the World Tour, like the best American basically, because you know it was him and Wawa in the finals, and then Wawa washed him. But it's really great to see that guy sort of get his time in the sun. And I will say that between Evo Japan and this Evo now, the organization Flyquest is probably feeling really good about some of their investments between Punk, Tempest NYC, and Nitro. They have at least 3 titles. Like that organization has 3 Evo titles in the last year.
Tempest won?
Tempest won Evo Japan Strive.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
they had a third trophy this Evo, right? Like who won Grand Blue? What was his name? Isn't he from Fly?
I don't remember, honestly. I do not watch
Aaron
Grand Blue
DeMac.
like that.
Yeah.
Aaron DeMac? Is he Flyquest?
I thought he was on Fly. Hold on, I'm doing some
Let me
research.
double check this. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Flyquest also has Kadoran, which is not great, but they have Jmook, who I don't know has Jmook won a tournament
What?
since. No, I don't think he has since he's been signed to
no,
Flyquest.
he's Paragon, dude. He represents Paragon. Aaron DeMac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he plays for Paragon.
I'm gonna be completely honest. It's just somebody who does not follow any of this at all. It sounds like you guys are just fucking with me and you're making up every fucking name.
I got you.
I mean,
Flyquest is like TSM or Cloud9.
There you go.
You get that,
it's an
right?
esports organization.
Esports.
It's like FaZe.
Esports. So
Like FaZe used to be, I guess. They're not really.
did you all ever hear the anime buff that Wawa got in Dragon Ball Fighters like midway through the year, or were you all kind of ignorant?
This is all our first time hearing about this.
Okay,
Why are
so
we talking
at some
about anime?
point,
Guys, welcome back to Trash Taste.
I love Dragon Ball though.
well, so at one point there was a tournament that Wawa was at, and there was this kid there that was a really big fan of his, and I guess Wawa either like lost his winners round or something like that. And this kid was like very upset that Wawa lost the set. And Wawa said, "Don't worry, I won't lose again." And then he like crushed the rest of the year until he retired from the game.
Oh,
So
nice.
like he literally got the
That's
anime buff
badass.
from saying to this kid, "I won't lose again," because he didn't want to see that kid cry anymore. So like,
and so he proceeded to Wawa wash us.
yeah, exactly. Wawa wash.
Dude,
But yeah,
we
no,
need
Evo
to
was
stop
great.
saying Wawa because every time you say it,
I
I
was about
just
to say, is this
We're
George
gonna move
Harrison?
away
My
from
brain
Dragon
is
Ball
so
Fighters
rotten,
now.
dude. I just have to. I have to
Wow,
spit
wow,
it
wow.
back to you. I'm like a fucking Pokemon, dude.
To put it in your own terms, dude, we're torched. Like this is what's happening
it's
right
so
now.
over.
Yeah. So,
I
but
will
yeah,
pivot
Wawa, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
if I can pivot, I'll just kind of
Not to
because
confuse with a
if you
pivot
say
pepper.
Wawa one more time, I'm gonna
Wawa.
piss myself.
Wow.
Anyway, so
Audio listeners, Jackson's peeing.
Oh shit.
anyway, so just to put a bow on it, like
Any
I
bows?
feel like a lot of people have kind of said this, but like Evo was just like really hyped this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
very good.
Strive Grands was like Game 5 last round after a bracket reset.
Yeah.
Tekken was really, really hype as well. Although I kind of wish like it would have like, not that I'm not happy that Atif and Arslan were in Grands, but it would have been. I always like it when you have two different like countries kind of going back to back a little bit. But
Oh yeah, like country
mean-
fighting instead of infighting. That's true.
Yeah,
agree with
exactly.
that.
Well,
right?
I mean,
As someone who didn't watch
it
the
is-
event, I agree. It would have been better.
I think
To
part of
me,
it too, especially with Tekken, a lot of regions I find tend to play a bit like if you're from that kind of region,
You
or
play
group,
different, yeah.
It's well, no, you play kind of like you worked with each other, so there's like, there's a difference between Pakistani Tekken versus Korean Tekken. And,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on,
Like
right?
you have different styles. That's what I said.
different
Yeah.
styles,
Like
right?
you have like
So
the European
I would have liked
style,
to see
the
two
Asian
different.
style, like whatever.
I would have liked to, and even within subregions, right? So I would have liked to see two different
like Korean,
styles.
Japan, yeah, whatever.
And with the grands we had a very aggressive player, versus Arslan, who's just like all around just really, really good at everything.
he's just the best, dude. Like
he's just the best, right? So we did have that a little bit, but I think it would have been like, it would have, the storyline would have been a little bit, more
Yeah.
fun, if it was like,
Yeah.
I agree.
And then obviously Street Fighter was unbelievable, with Punk. For those who don't know, Street Fighter, Flyquest's very own Punk the God, won Evo this year for Street Fighter 6. And he, what was it, 2017, made grands, I think on winner's side, potentially, for
In
Street Fighter 5,
Yeah.
and then choked, and then lost it. And he was like, obviously devastated. And so,
Yeah.
almost happened again, but he won the last round. And it, like, you could fucking feel it through the mic, just the fuck. When you make Yipes cry, that's how you know you did something good with your life. I've never seen that man cry before. Like,
I'm sure he's cried.
probably,
But-
but not on camera
Probably.
like that.
That's
It's
true.
like,
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
For those
I
who
mean-
don't know who Yipes is, like,
Goat.
go
Yeah.
of the FGC.
One of the best commentators you will ever hear in any like field of expertise, really.
If you're a commentator of any kind,
Also one of
commentating a
the-
lot, but like study
Also one
him.
of the three. Also one of the
Yeah.
three Marvel 2 gods.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
right.
He was actually the only player. Number one, he was the only player of the Marvel 2 gods to not have Sentinel on his team, and he was the only one to play Magneto, like, and win an Evo like that. Of the three Marvel 2 gods.
Because it was him,
Him,
Justin,
Sanford Kelly, and Justin.
Oh, Sanford Kelly. Okay.
They all played Storm, but only 2 of them played Sentinel, and then Yipes also was the only one to play Psylocke. They all played different assists though. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, because Santhrax played Captain Commando and Justin played Cyclops. So
I play Captain
Right,
Commando when I go to bed.
All right, gonna file
fair
that
enough,
one
yeah.
under
Fair
too much
enough.
information. Anyway, so Evo, right? Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know, man. Evo's tight. I think now they're expanding Nat count 1. So
Nat count
I
3,
fucking
dog.
got it.
oh, is it 3?
Oh, I need
Nice.
to see
Sick. Yeah.
Bro,
Put that
it's like
away, bro.
smeared. Put that.
But now,
Fuck that, fuck
that
now
away, bro.
Evo
It's like a fifth
is,
attempt.
now
I'm sorry
Evo's
about
going
that.
they're going to France now.
Oh,
and-
we
Oh,
just like the
oui, oui.
Olympics.
Yeah, and Europe is
France.
pretty long overdue, I would say, for an Evo.
Like mainline Evo, so not like an
yeah,
Evo
mainline
Japan
Evo. No, it's just it's just Evo. I guess it's going to be Evo Nice or whatever, or Nice or whatever it's called in France. But yeah, like Evo Europe is going to be a thing now.
Speaking
so.
of France and the Olympics, did you all see that? Like, apparently they're gonna have like esports at the Olympics now.
Are they
That's cool.
really?
Yes.
I didn't see
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
saw
I did
a
see
tweet.
that too.
I saw a tweet that
What
Shredberg
games?
quote tweeted that he said that Super Meat Boy was going to be at the Olympic Games, but but that's how I saw it. Shouts to
I hate to
Shredberg.
break it to him, but it's not gonna happen.
they've
It's
talked
gonna
about
be,
that for a while, and I think didn't they just put like chess or some other board games?
The chess
like,
boxing.
in
There's
there?
there's a chess boxing show match that Ludwig is doing something with. It's not going to be streamed, but it's going to be like on
at the Olympics.
Yeah,
something like that.
that's pretty neat.
I'm spreading a little bit
mean-
of misinformation because I don't know all the information, but I'm spreading enough
Yeah.
information that it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It'll be interesting too if they actually turn that into like a regular sort of like stop on an international circuit, because in terms of like the like American infrastructure or Western infrastructure usually for esports, a really big problem for some games is that there's not a lot of international competitions. So like League of Legends, for example,
Yeah.
a huge problem where people would say like, that some region would say so dominant for a long time is because there were barely any times where regions would come together and play.
It's still a problem,
on
like,
land. Is it still a problem?
Yeah,
Okay,
like fucking,
I figured so.
Korea, I'm pretty sure, wins like almost everything.
Yeah,
Korea and China.
I know that China and
Europe
Taiwan
also
even
does
were
a
for
pretty
a
good
while.
job as well, but it's really just the U.S. that fucking sucks in League, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
but there has
so
been that thing in League where
EU
there's only 2 like international tournaments here. There's MSI,
Yeah.
mid-season invitational.
I mean, that's
Okay,
where
yeah,
the phrase
we're- NSI,
NAM
yeah.
comes from, right? Like
Yeah,
NA
NAM,
sucked
yeah.
in like CS for ages, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and NA still
Yep.
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it was made even more apparent, like when they put the import limit too kind of on things, right? Because then like you could only have 1 or 2 international players on your NA roster, and
Oh,
I don't know,
but I
American-
think that's a
American
good thing,
coaches-
though, for
No, no, I
'cause
think
you
it
want
is,
the people
but-
that play for America teams to be from America. So
Oh, yeah, no,
similar to,
absolutely.
me personally, I would approach the thing of like you can't go anywhere else.
I would
At least in
say
League,
too,
just because
yeah.
like
But-
it's not like the orgs are giving you that much different money. I mean, the NA orgs probably pay a bit more just because they're
Probably,
trying
yeah,
to get
'cause-
you to come over.
especially because of celebrity stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
that,
it's
cost of living
like
in the States.
none of the
True,
none
yeah.
of the league pros that like move over really do anything like with the NA teams anyway. They're just trying to win, and I'm like,
yeah.
I
They're
don't know.
just-
I don't
either
like
that or they
importing,
collected a
in my
paycheck.
opinion. I because I like there to be like this is NA, this is EU. You know what I mean? And have
Yeah.
it like super like spread out. That's why like
It's more fun that way.
yeah, because like Side Tangent Smite did this thing back in season 6 where they
Well, can I finish my
conjoined.
point at least?
This is a really quick
No.
tangent. They conjoined
Okay.
NA and EU like together because they had like their in-person LAN thing or whatever, and it did like do a kind of a knock on esports and making it a bit less interesting just because it was cool like as a fan perspective to see everyone playing together, but it's also just like I'd rather see the difference because I just
Yeah.
think the people fighting from different countries is way more hype because there's more on the line.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
national pride is one hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't have any
mean-
for this country, but whatever. Anyway, continue, Cosmic.
Well, so the kind of the path that I was taking was that
Damn, Cole's drinking
when-
that shit. That's crazy.
He's
bro.
drinking,
Chugging.
dude. So when you're only allowed like 1
Sorry,
or
I
2
just-
imports, when you're only allowed 1 or 2 imports, of course organizations are going to try and buy up those players for their 1 or 2 like power slots. But teams still don't understand that like in a game where communication is such a big thing, now you have 2 people that have a language barrier to the rest of the team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good, dude.
You know?
Yeah, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
oh yeah, it's totally
League of
works,
Legends
right?
executives know what they're doing. They're
and-
smart.
And it was so weird to me, like when commentators for the LCS would be on the mic being like, oh, and these guys have only been playing together for a while, and there's a language barrier. They're already gelling so well, and it's like, yeah, imagine if like they didn't have that. Imagine if they got a guy that was maybe 75% as good as this Korean dude, and there was no language barrier. They could probably have even more potential. So
And here's the thing: it's not even maybe necessarily a language barrier. It could also be a cultural barrier. Like
That's true,
in
yeah,
the sense
absolutely,
that
yeah.
people in different cultures communicate with each other differently or in different
Mm-hmm.
flavors, right? And so if you don't like that, if you don't have that, there might not. It's trust. It's a cohesion
Yeah.
thing, right? It might be harder to build
Mhm.
trust with a team where you're from Norway and everyone else on your team like grew up somewhere in the Midwest, right? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
it's like.
They all want to eat cheese curds, and you're just from Norway. Like, what are we talking about here, dude?
Like, what are we doing here? And,
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
cheese
I mean,
curds
the
sound
Joel
so
cheese
good
curds
right
thing
now.
can be fixed, but like, just
Yeah.
to bring the point out,
You guys
Yeah,
don't
I
like
was-
cheese curds?
I love cheese curds. I was
I-
mostly just making like a small sort of like facetious
Midwestern.
example, basically. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
love cheese curds, dude. Oh, that sounds so good.
I
They're
just,
great.
yeah, it's just not for me because diabetes. So,
That'll do it. Yeah.
bro just like
but
thought
yeah.
of Culver's in his head, and I think
And he was just
might have
like,
nutted.
"Oh man,
Fuck,
dude."
dude, this one right down the road. Fuck. I wish it wasn't expensive though, bro. Broke as fuck.
All right, how many
yeah,
times
so-
can we say
$6.
Culver's in the next 30 minutes before Nestani turns off?
Absolutely,
the podcast?
absolutely 0 because we're moving on. So
Another
okay.
net?
Evo was great, and so it is really good, honestly, to see. I mean, not only the great like grand finals from the big three, but the finals for Third Strike on Saturday as well were really awesome. And it is really good to consistently see these, like this retro slot that's coming into Evo gain so much appreciation. And I think it kind of bodes well for people to see these older games and understand like kind of how these games used to be, essentially, because fighting games now are designed very deliberately, and they are designed especially with the idea of bringing in new players. So to see a game that is, has stayed the same for decades and is still just as entertaining to watch as it was back in, like 2005, I think is a very good thing for people to see. And I hope that, especially with those releases, as like the re-releases of like SVC Chaos, and like the Marvel Collection, that people are going to continue to see, like what makes these older games great. And hopefully it'll inspire like future games to pull more from those older games in how they work.
Make old games great again.
It's true.
I've had enough of that
something-
fucking shit. I just
Who's gonna play 2XKO, the best named game of all time?
Bro, don't even get me started on that name. And number
Dude,
two,
Project
okay.
L is unironically a better name than
It is,
2XKO.
honestly,
Just leave it at Project L,
like-
or actually make the L a word, like have it be like fucking
Yeah. I mean, they could have just called it like
yeah,
I
call
don't
it League
know,
of Legends.
man.
I don't know, call it
Yeah.
fucking.
they could have called it Runeterra Rumble for all I give a shit. It would
Hey,
still
bro,
be.
they could have called it. They could have called it League Brawlers. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah,
who cares?
or League of Fighters. I don't know. Like, what do they expect people to say? I got next on 2X. Like, no, bro.
I got
this
next
is
on
not.
2XKO. Like what are you
Well,
gonna call it?
I got
Game
next on
KO?
2X. Yeah,
You're
just,
gonna call it 2X.
like-
You're gonna call it XK Telecom. Like what are you gonna talk about?
It's so annoying, especially with like, and they seem to be assembling like the most bland sort of like safe cast in the history of a fighting game. Like, oh yeah, let's add Braum in there, bro. Like, characters like Lucian are sitting right fucking there, and they're like, nah, we're just gonna
add in the titties.
We're just gonna
Brad
add
and Ari.
Braum.
Hell yeah, Ari.
Well,
Echo.
see, honestly,
on.
Ari, I get. Same
Yo,
with
where's
Echo
Lux
because
at?
Echo was
Bring
in.
her in. Let's go.
Same with Echo, because
Give me
Echo was
Syndra,
in.
give
What's
me
it called?
Lux, give me Nico.
Okay, Syndra would be tight. Syndra would be cool because she's got the orb
got
shit
balls.
going on.
Yeah, she
could
can
be,
shoot with her balls.
She could be like Venom from Guilty Gear, but like in a tag fighter.
I
That
don't know
would be
what the
sick.
fuck you just said to me, but sure.
Oh,
That's
so
me
Venom.
this entire podcast, dude.
So hold on.
Colin
Quick
was like,
tangent.
No
My whole
fucking
thing is, I
clue
feel like
what the fuck is going on? I'm
Okay,
killing
so we're-
gnats and drinking beer. That's this podcast. That's
Killing
it.
Nats with your beer?
It's
Catch
fine.
you
We're
up.
gonna. We'll pivot correctly. I've got a
Good
direction
pivot
for us
because
to
of like
go in.
fighting
I mean,
games.
say
and
what,
there's
however
pivoting
long you
and
want.
fighting
I just
games.
think it's
Yeah.
funny. I'm just gonna.
I
Make
just
love
brought up
to my
2XKO
comics
just
right
because-
here and-
Why not?
Whoa.
I mean,
Anyway.
I don't like Riot, and I hope that game fails. So
Oh.
that's
Oh,
my
it won't. That's
like.
the problem.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
that,
to
that
play
is
it.
the
thing.
problem.
Because it's gonna
I-
be
that's
the
the
only
problem.
fighting game that's gonna be free to play, so everyone's just gonna fucking
Yeah.
play.
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
actually,
and
Killer
it's-
Instinct. Killer Instinct.
Okay, it's gonna be the only good fighting game that's free to play.
I have the Super Nintendo Killer Instinct. I don't
Oh,
have it
yeah.
with me though.
So here's the thing,
Cosmic
though,
didn't
is
like
they're
that.
gonna make Cosmic. They're gonna make a shitload of money.
That's true. Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
will.
make so much
Absolutely,
money.
yeah.
And
Especially
you know
on the
why?
Ari
It's
skins.
because- on the Ari skins, and also just because it's ladies
League
with
branding.
large boobs in 2D.
Well, no,
Wait,
I
what was
would
this
I
game
would
called
argue
again?
it's more.
It's
2XKO. It is the League of Legends fighting
I'm
game.
looking this up. Did you say there were very well dressed women here?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
League champions are hot, but I would argue it's more
That's
of just
true.
League IP rather than just like anime
Yeah, it's
booby games
definitely the
because there's
League
plenty of
IP,
anime
yeah.
booby fighting games. There's too
Oh!
many actually.
Not the oh-ho.
Okay,
Bro
so
looked up
Cole, what
Rule
was
34 anyway.
what was the
2XO,
character that first
yeah,
got
I-
pulled up, Cole?
like
Who have you fallen down bad for?
Yep.
He doesn't know that.
Bro
So,
was
I'm
speechless.
sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Anyway, yeah, the league IP very strong. The game's going to be
Very
good,
strong,
and I'm
yeah.
gonna play it because it's gonna be free, and
They're-
so I'm gonna play it because I refuse to
they're-
spend money on a fighting game because I hate fighting games.
they're gonna be able to like bring in a lot of new people, and they're gonna be able to pump a lot of money into their tournaments. If they actually have
Wait,
like
I
their
need to
own
close this
tournament
tab.
circuit, then it's just fucking over, dude.
You know,
So
I'm gonna be in there.
Sometimes I wonder if I've just like missed out on an easy opportunity for a career, because like I can make so much fucking money. Because like here's the thing, like I've studied game dev, right?
yeah.
And like NSFW games are right there. I make a shitload of money. Do you understand how much money I am leaving
not
on the
where
table?
I thought you were going.
Well, here's the thing, Jax, is that like you would have to be aware of the source material to be able to make it good. You know what I mean? And
Jaxler
No,
really
that's,
said,
experience.
that's what a writer's for, right? And well, here's the other thing: is like I could actually finish
don't worry,
making it
I can
because I wouldn't get
co-write
distracted.
the game.
I
for
wouldn't
you.
get distracted, right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
Okay, maybe that's
Jax.
why God.
And
put
then
me
you can
on
use
this earth.
Cole as a reference, and if he's speechless at your game, you know you've made a good one.
I would love to fucking QA your shit, man. That would be
Yeah.
Oh,
so
QA. Oh,
He's gonna be
okay.
QA-ing some shit. That's for sure.
quality assurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
The Q in QA stands for core.
It would take you like 30 minutes to write one Jira ticket. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
like, you would
that's
just
true.
be like gooning for that long.
Damn,
before
not the
you report
Jira
any
ticket,
bugs.
bro. Holy shit. Not the Jira ticket. Come on, man. Don't do it
I
like
don't know what that
that.
is.
Okay,
It's a
so
project
alright,
managing site, so
Yeah, so whenever
Okay.
like Minecraft had this
Who
for
references
ages.
a project managing site? What the hell?
No, it's
Bro,
so it's
Okay, I'm
it's-
glad I'm not
that's
the only
ex-
one who
No,
doesn't
no,
know
that's
this.
that's
I've
not
been on
exactly
Jira
what it
before.
is. It's what's called an issue tracker. So it's
That
like
too,
a way
yeah.
to catalog and keep track of bugs with like a game or a project,
yeah.
like software.
common
engineering, something
knowledge.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
Minecraft has like a public Jira where it's like, hey, my game isn't working on this snapshot. You just send a Jira ticket, right? So it's
Yeah,
a way
there
for
you
people to report.
Oh,
bugs
and so this
shit.
is funny because you could see everyone saying, "Hey, these boobies aren't jiggling enough. Please up the jiggle physics."
Well, no, the joke I mean, fair, but the joke
Oh.
I was saying is that it would take Cole 30 minutes to write one
Yeah,
Jira ticket.
and then
because,
like the contents of the Jira ticket would be that he would be like, "I can't finish because the boobs aren't jiggling enough."
well, no, it's
What the fuck?
it's not that. It's because of the fucking typos. Because he's trying to do it with one hand. Okay, that's the joke I was going for.
Hey, all three work. I think Speaking of
I mean,
all
in more
three,
ways than one.
go ahead,
It's
Cosmic.
low hanging fruit in more ways than one. I get it. You know. It's
Speaking
like,
of
A third
hanging in
more
the wow.
sinister thing. So
but no, seriously, like I think about it, and I'm just like, it doesn't even have to be like porn. Like it could I could just do like visual novels or some shit, and just like that has to like.
Jaxler is really just hitting us with the I guide others to a treasure I do not care about. Like
Bro's trying to make the new Doki
have-
Doki Literature Club.
All I'm saying
What?
is because like for all that you make fun of me of, like what if I just started doing this and just made a shitload of money? You know what I
I would
mean?
be like, get the bag, bro.
I would applaud you.
Absolutely
I would
get the
applaud
bag.
you if you started doing that.
or I could just make a fucking gotcha game. Like
True.
it's just
People have been saying
it's
this.
just too well.
Yeah,
no,
true.
that-
Come on,
I don't know how to do.
It's doing.
I don't know how to do network engineering. So, but
Yeah, you can figure it out. It's probably like pretty simple.
there's gotta it can't be that hard, right?
You're
Like,
definitely
yeah.
You're definitely sitting on some money. You got to get it
Yeah.
together, man.
Yeah. Well, he's sitting
You
on a lot
gotta-
of money,
Right.
but yeah,
Right.
okay.
got him.
All right. So
Anyway,
Got it.
So the point that I
So-
kind of wanted to get to here with Evo
Any pointers?
is like whenever Evo and like these big tournaments come up, there's always the discussion of like emotions on the main stage and how like high emotions run and everything.
yeah,
And-
when you play one of those games, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of gets me to thinking about like how public facing a lot of this stuff is anymore with competitive games and like streaming as well, because a lot of fighting game players will stream now, and some fighting game players make so much money that they won't go to tournaments because a day off is going to be lost money for them.
No. There's actually a good Mars. That's what Mars does. Mars streams instead of goes to tournaments now, because he's like, if I leave, I will lose out money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the first, I think, that I saw kind of make that transition was like I Will Dominate from League of Legends, and then like Double Lift kind of went into that space as well.
Do you play League, Cosmic? You know a surprising amount of League stuff.
I used to play League. Quite a bit. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's fine.
Wow.
It's all right.
Is that how you got the hairline you have?
No, that was due. That was due to genetics and a lot of other
and a lot of League of Legends.
Up.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
And was it the cortisol from like your teammates just running it down mid? Is that what caused the receding hairline? Is that what did it?
Or was it your own running it down? Like, did you run down your own hairline?
No,
like,
I never ran it down mid, dude. I always ran it down dragon. So anyway.
Dragging these nuts on your face.
Joke.
Anyway,
true. So
funny.
I know, it's really funny. I should have
You're
a
so
podcast
funny
or something.
And attractive.
Oh, thanks. I know.
I got you.
Wow. That was unexpected.
So
Nice.
yeah, that was very nice. I hope your family has a nice Christmas. So
they will. I'm actually going to gift them a great gift, which you all know about.
Yeah. No,
we're not going to talk about that on the podcast, though. Continue.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, that'll be dope. So, I guess I really kind of wanted to get into, because it still seems that although there's a lot of public-facing emotions now, the idea of showing like anger or frustration, or defeat or something like that, seems to still be something that people try to placate a lot, not only as like a streamer or as a competitor, but also as a viewer.
What do you
I
mean
see
placate?
Very often.
Like,
that
what does
basically
mean?
just means they try to like
they try to
what's the word?
Like you shouldn't
de-escalate it a lot.
You shouldn't like show emotion. You shouldn't pop off. You shouldn't throw a chair
it's
across
one of
the
those
room
things.
at HBox.
Well, I mean, Hungry Box is one of is he definitely shouldn't throw chairs, but
it's hype when he does.
that's a whole other story. So
I love it.
Nah, bro, that ain't.
Anyway,
that's
continue.
lame.
Continue.
So, I think like an easy example for this is, and we keep bringing up speedrunning, but this is like the most easy example that I can really come up with, is that when somebody that is, like a big streamer that's speedrunning starts like, losing time or gets frustrated, people are like, oh, time saved for next run.
Kill yourself.
Like, or like, when they,
I would shoot
when they
someone
barely,
in my chat if they said that shit to me. Just,
or
oh,
when
God.
when they miss like a PB or they miss like a big world record, there is this idea that viewers seem to have where they want to like try and make the person feel better about this thing that just happened, when really you just got to let somebody go through it, and like, I think this is the same with fighting games as well. And maybe just in general, if somebody's frustrated about something, like, let's talk about like Elden Ring, for example, with the DLC being out. Like, I saw a guy like play the final boss on that for hours and hours and hours. And like, people immediately like would try to like vaguely suggest things, even if they hadn't played the game. Like, or they'll like, or they'll try and like backseat your life, right? Where they're like, you need to get up and take a break, or maybe you should have some water or something like that. And it's like, that's actually
maybe you
worse
should
than
stop typing. Like, how about that? Maybe you should stop typing.
When I'm doing like a major speedrun grind,
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me before, where someone tries to coach me through mentality shit like that, or like try to be like, hey, you should do shit like this. And I'm like, you are not qualified to be talking to me about this, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know who you're talking? I get a little like, almost not like egotistical, but I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
It's also just like, I know what I'm doing. I
have spent my like, this is the most important thing in my entire life. Do not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just personality wise, I hate it when people tell me what to do. I'm starting to feel like you're the same way, where it's just like, you tell us to do something or not to do something. Or like, no.
He shrugged.
No.
He was like, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Perhaps
It's like the easiest way to make me actually, because I tend to not get angry at people. But like if you're like telling me what to do, or like that is a very easy like that is like the only way I'll get mad at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Stop.
No one could have ever
the-
guessed that I would agree with that sentiment.
The big fielding question that I have really is, when do you guys think it's acceptable to show anger publicly?
Always.
In this manner? Or like, and when it is acceptable, like what does that look like for you, really?
Okay, I
first.
would say always in this
Always.
scenario. Obviously, like
Okay.
don't do it at fucking school or like work or something. Like there's times and places, but like if you're on stage, you just lost a match. Yeah, if you just lost a PB, you're fucking streaming in your goddamn room. Like yes, it is always acceptable, and that's really like. One of my favorite quotes is from, this is funny, second Smite mention of the day, everyone, is from a Smite Pro player called Captain Twig. And his single statement was, it's cool to try and it's cool to care. And that sums up how I feel about anger and people showing anger, which is why I like players like Moki and Smash, which is why I like players like Leffen. It's why I like players like Mango. Because whenever you show your anger, it shows me that you care. Right. And I love when people care so much. Like when you can see how much someone cares about something, it doesn't necessarily have to come out negative. Right. Like I like watching Maya, for example, because she clearly cares about like Alveus and the animal sanctuary she runs. Right. Different. That's a positive thing. That's but like Mango getting fucking mad and salt tweeting. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm like, yeah, because it's just like it's cool to try and it's cool to care. And I think that when people tell people to not get angry or to like take a break, they don't get what it's like to care about something that much. And I'll say that with my whole chest. You ain't never cared about nothing in your whole life. And that's what I got.
Yeah.
Fair.
I can
Jax,
watch
did you
it,
wanna go
but Cole,
next,
I don't
or
know if
did
you had anyone you wanted.
Cole, you want to go?
I guess I didn't answer the
Uh,
other half of your question, which was like in relation to me, but like the quick answer is I just show anger all the time. And
Never would have guessed.
I'll just let it rip. If any of you have been in my streams, you know it's not a fun place. Anyway, go ahead, Cole.
Damn.
I mean, I guess for me, it like kind of depends on like the context of the situation. Like, I mean, Nestani was mentioning like, yeah, in like a gaming, like competitive situation, that makes sense. But even when like, I don't know, I feel like it depends. It's kind of weird and I don't really know how to describe it very well, but there's some like situations where I've been in a competitive situation where being angry is like, I guess the right move, or just a move that wouldn't have many consequences. But then there's other like competitive things, like for example, like I was in theater in high school, and those have the most bitchy diva people on earth who are so egotistical and care about themselves.
Shouts to the bitchy
Ridiculous.
diva hose. Classic Cole
Exactly, bro.
It's my favorite Cole quote of all time, dude.
Is filled with bitchy diva hose. Unbelievable amounts. The meters go off the charts. There's like,
Incredible.
oh my god. If there was a metal detector for bitchy diva hose, if you point that fucker right at the stage at your school, beep, beep, it's going off the charts. Anyway.
Not to
But,
be
like,
confused
if
with the
I
beeps
got
from
mad-
Jax's insulin pump. That
Yeah,
none of you could
sorry.
hear because I cut them out. But like, I don't know why I made the joke because I just realized I cut them all out. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Well, now you
Anyway.
gotta leave them in. Thanks. Yeah.
I'll leave one in for the people, for the culture. Go ahead.
For the
But
Culvers.
like if I got angry there when like I wanted a certain role and then I didn't get it, and ultimately the other person should have gotten it, but like if I acted on that where like the director came out and was like, the role for this person is Charlie Bellbottom,
Or here's the
name
call
I
sheet,
made up. Yeah, like, and I didn't get it, I wouldn't be like, man, what the fuck? This is bullshit. What the fuck? Like, I would not jump up and be like that. But
I think
definitely
it's fine
be, like,
if you let out
pissed
like
in my
one. You
internal
know what I
heart.
mean? If you're just like fuck, like I think that's
Well,
fine.
I feel like-
if
I
it
feel like
lasts
it
for
would be
like
different.
5-10 seconds, no, it's too much in that scenario. But like I
I
think
feel like
one
that
is
would-
fine. Like
No,
Well, here,
dude,
and
I
here's
don't
the
know.
thing. That feels a bit more like you know, I would expect disappointment to follow that kind of a scenario.
Yeah,
more.
that's true.
Like,
More
and I
than
feel like
anger,
that's
yeah.
almost like a different, right? Because to me, that's almost like, you know, not getting the job, right?
That's true.
Because it's like, it's not your fault necessarily, because they didn't choose you. They chose someone else, right? As opposed to, oh, I lost this match, so or I choked this PB. So the failure or the unsuccess in this case was directly in my hands.
See,
I think that's more what we're getting at.
I would say that
That's
like
interesting
theater,
because-
I feel like it does. It is kind of in your hands a lot of the time. I think
That's what
I mean,
was
it
gonna
is.
Yeah.
It's not that
reply
it's
with, yeah.
not, but it's like,
because it still is a
you know,
skill.
you're talking about that
Just because like
yeah.
it's not since it's like it's a tryout rather instead of a match. So like the anger is delayed, right? But it's still like as soon as you have it, it's like you just lost the match, right? When you don't get the roll. So
Sure.
like I don't know. I'm kind of in between here. Go
But
ahead, Cole.
here's the thing, though. You
Or
can
Jax.
do everything right and still not get it, right? And that's the thing. It's not that they don't choose you for that role because you didn't do good enough. It's because
Someone is better.
oh, maybe they wanted you to do
Someone is
this
better,
thing
yeah.
instead, even, right?
Yeah.
And you might not agree. So it's on. To me, it just feels like a different flavor of emotion, honestly. But I feel like we're just kind of picking, or like pulling hairs at this point.
Go ahead, Cole.
And like
I
we're
think
splitting hairs at this point.
I think though at the end of the day for me it's like as long as I don't get buried in the anger, then anger is fine. Because there's points where like I've been speedrunning or doing something like that and I get buried in my anger and eventually it turns into like kind of like a doubt almost. And I'm just like man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why do I care so much about something like this? Like, I feel like it's not making me happy. And even if I do get the goal, like, I feel like nothing will come out of it anymore. But
Yeah.
if you have like the anger because you know you can kind of see like the quote unquote light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing, then it can be a great motivator.
Yeah, basically, if you
And
use anger as motivation, it's a good thing, rather than
Yeah.
just being angry.
Yeah.
Angry, right?
Yeah.
I think to put into words another thing that Cole got at that I agree with a lot is there's a big difference between getting angry and having a meltdown, right?
Yeah.
There
that's
is
fair.
nothing worse on planet Earth than like, especially a speedrun streamer, like just spiraling
Yeah.
and just getting like super pissed. It's really uncomfortable to watch.
It's
right?
it is very uncomfortable. Yeah.
And
Yep.
you know, it takes a lot of emotional intelligence to be able to, and strength, emotional strength, honestly, to be able to, okay, I'm gonna be angry. I'm gonna cool off as much as I feel like I need to, and I've identified how much I need to, and then I'm gonna come back, and I won't be 100%, but I'm gonna keep going, right? And there's, that great when you there's, I'm not gonna name drop it. But there's a couple
Stop
people
looking
I
at
haven't-
me.
No, I'm not. I'm literally not looking at you. This thing in the middle of my literally caught. I was literally looking at the reflections on Cosmic's forehead. Okay, I kid you
Damn.
not. That was the first thing I saw.
Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
Why
Catch
are
a
you
stray
digging
for no
into
reason.
Cosmic this podcast?
This man is just mad because the side of my face looks like the fucking crescent moon, bro.
yeah,
just like-
it's a waxing crescent.
Yeah. See. Mm-hmm.
But no, I was thinking of someone else completely. That's like a couple other people completely. That
Well, you're
if
talking
I
about
name
like true
dropped, I would get.
meltdowns. Yeah, you're talking about true
Yeah,
meltdowns.
if I name drop
yeah.
them, I would get us. Well, not just maybe not us, but me. I would probably
Pop
get in
quiz. Has
trouble.
anyone had a full meltdown on their stream, like full anger meltdown?
I mean, I think I had one
probably
like
have.
I think I
probably
had
have
one
a couple.
recently too because there was a point where like I was doing my second or third run of Otogi 2,
Otki.
and that game fucking slaughtered me like one of the runs, and I think I lost like 20-30 minutes off of whatever splits I was running against.
Pretty good.
And I should have just fucking stopped, right? But I just like wanted to finish the run, and by like
the tilt finish.
yeah.
Oh, I love
yeah,
tilt
it was
finishing runs,
it
dude.
was the absolute tilt finish, dude. And like by the end, I was just like I was just like fuck. Like at one point, and somebody in my chat was like language, and I was like, maybe you should just not say anything anymore, like at all. And like
I've been saying this.
Like, I think I was like second to last. Like, it was one of those things like where I was already like 20 minutes behind, and then you're supposed to one shot this boss, and one in every like 1,000 times she will block your hit. And that was the one time. That was the one time she blocked.
Did this
dude.
person say
And
it
then-
without sarcasm at all?
It was probably with
no,
sarcasm, but
said,
it
like-
It was
doesn't
probably
matter.
with sarcasm, but it doesn't
matter.
Yeah, I was
matter.
about to say,
like,
when you're
at
mad,
all,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
Like
at all.
I saw that same because it was an IRL friend too. I saw him like on Wednesday, and we were chopping the shit up like
He
usual.
punched him in the face. Oh.
I should have, but you know it's fine. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, when he said chopping this shit up, he meant his head
True.
off of his body.
But no, we were chopping it up like usual or whatever. But it was one of those
I
things.
can't
where,
believe
like,
you chop up
just-
body parts. That's really cool.
But you know, it was just one of those
Fucking Ted
cases where
Bundy out
like
here on the pod, anyway.
everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and it was also expounded by the fact that I was not I was not I was not yet good enough at the game to prevent it from going wrong. And so like the whole time I was like blaming the game as well as blaming myself. So it was just like this true sort of I'm like finishing the run and then I'm not seeing the rest of y'all until GDQ's over.
But like,
You know,
is that
and
is that a
then-
meltdown or is that you being mad?
Well,
You know
here's
what
the
mean?
thing.
'Cause
I think
that was-
everyone
Oh, no, I
has
was-
a...
I
Everyone
was
has
like-
a
that
right.
sounds
I
like every
was-
stream of mine.
I was cussing up a storm. I was getting furious like the whole
That
time.
just sounds like every stream I've ever had.
Oh, that's fair.
That
I
also sounds like
believe
me.
that everyone has a right to weaponize their emotions for content. I firmly believe this.
Dude,
Shout out to
If you're
Oh
angry
God.
and you want to play it up just to make a funny bit or to make somebody laugh or even make yourself laugh, I think that's more than allowed.
Yeah.
every time I've unironically done that, like if any Frights people are listening to this, the robot thing, I like died to a robot right at the end, like one of the first times I was about to get a PB. That was genuine rage. People thought that was so fucking funny. I was
it's
pissed
so
for like a
funny.
week
It
that
is
people thought
so
that was
funny.
funny. I think it's funny now.
Yeah.
The same with
think
like
the-
my NLE and my NLE PB that's still up today, no levels early.
Oh yeah. If you
And I
want to see
got, like, that
Cole be
stupid-
pissed,
Oh my god.
go watch that. He's mad.
I think the only time, well, one of the only times, because I can count those times like on one hand, that I actually like played up how I really felt for the content was like very early on in DMC5. And I was about to get like this first like sub 140 time or whatever, which in hindsight is not like anywhere close to what the run is like now. But at the time, it would have been a pretty good run. And my internet cut out like in the last two missions, which are both like 2 minutes. Like they're like 30 seconds long each. So there was like a minute to 2 minutes left in the whole fucking run. So stream restarted. I finished the run and then got up and just like walked off camera. When really I could have just started the run and been like, kind of pissed right now, you know, or whatever. But like I intentionally just like played it up and walked out and like got a drink and all this other shit. But it was like, that's like one of the very few times I would say I actually played it up. Cause it's, I don't know, for me, that sort of stuff is so personal that I don't want to do that. Right. That I don't want to like play up my emotions at all, because when you play them up enough, that just becomes what you do. And
Yeah.
now it's no longer playing it
A
up.
lie is true if you believe it.
Yeah. And like,
Quote Mr.
I've
Costanza.
known, I know people in like the content streaming stuff that they started out like their opinions, for example, being that way. Like they would say something is dog shit and it just be hyperbolic, you know? And now when they say something is dog shit, even though it's probably not dog shit, like a game or whatever, even though it's not dog shit, it's probably just okay. They mean it because that's who they are now, you know? And like now nothing is good anymore. Nothing is okay. And nothing is
The
decent.
SpongeBob movie video.
Everything is now amazing or dog shit. There's just no in between, you know?
I think
And
Cole knows what I'm referencing here, but we'll
I don't, but so
I
yeah.
don't either.
Anyway,
I don't even know where we're
I
going
didn't
here.
I'll pivot to myself a little bit because
Yeah.
Something I kind of wanted to add, because I think it applies to me specifically a bit, is I think it also depends a bit on how your emotion and specifically your anger manifests, and
Yep.
it can vary from situation to situation.
Yeah, like if it
but-
manifests in slurs, maybe don't do that. You know.
Yeah, probably
right,
do that.
And-
Probably
and if
never.
if it manifests in slurs, for one, fuck you, but also
call
I'll
get
give
a
it. I'll give.
therapist. you know?
I'll use a story as an example. There was one time where when I was in a Rivals of Aether tournament back when I was in college. This was like probably the last, I want to say, tournament that would qualify for the region's power ranking, so it was a really big deal. and I was playing lights out, but I was also this tournament. Went into losers early, and then I played like 5 3-2 best of 5 sets in a row. And the second to last one was against a player that was second best in our region, and I absolutely fucking despised playing against. Even still a little bit to this day, because she played super lane, super slow, super campy. And it was last hit, last stock, and I took it. And I like almost blacked out for a second when I took it. I basically, like, I stood up, I stomped. I didn't even yell, I didn't even say anything. But just, like, I stomped, I fucking stomped forward a couple more steps, just, like, almost like I was about to walk straight through the fucking wall that was off to the right. Yeah. And just fucking stood there and just like that. Right?
Sounds like
so
a
not
great
even
pop
loud.
off. Can I watch it?
It wasn't recorded, but
damn
it was so aggressive. Like, I had people tell me later it made them extremely uncomfortable. Because I generally don't, even in stuff like Snap, like, I'll pop off sometimes with speedruns and get excited. But I don't pop off like that.
Audio listeners,
Nestani just pumped his hands. Yeah. Nestani's pumping his hands, cheering Jaxler on. Cheering Jaxler on.
The person in the building be like, yeah!
Get him!
They thought, well, here's the thing, right? The point of this is that, you know, you might have thought that was cool, but, like, literally everyone in the room was, like, super fucking freaked out. They thought I was going to hurt someone or something.
Nah.
Like, they thought I was going to hit the wall or, like...
I have the argument that I think they're pussies.
Well...
Jesus.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. I see someone pop off like that. I'm like, they're popping off, bro. Like, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do in a pop off as long as you don't like break something or hurt someone, right? If you don't do those two things, it doesn't really matter.
Well, here's the thing. It looked. I don't remember it, but someone told me it looked like I had murder on my face. Like I was going to get.
Playing a fighting game, like.
Not that kind of.
Yeah.
It stopped being about the game.
I know what you're talking about.
Not the Tokido
okay?
on your face. Yeah.
The point of this fucking story.
Go ahead, yeah.
The point of this fucking story is that it made everyone wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, and that it made people feel unsafe, right? And so, just because for some people it, you know, they think it's hype, they think it's cool, they think it's funny. Right? You know, there's other human beings a lot of times, even in the room, let's say, for something like that, where it's like, I don't know. Because I didn't even know I could get like that. So honestly, I've kind of had this weird relationship lately with, you know, kind of the way I get sometimes when I'm really frustrated, where I'll just turn off my webcam or turn off my mic. I'll keep streaming, I'll keep playing, but sometimes I don't know, maybe just it's a personal thing, but I don't like how I get when I'm angry. And I think that's part of, you know, a little bit has to do with kind of, you know, streamers I've watched before in speedrunning or communities I've been a part of, and I just don't want to turn into them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that honestly,
but that's a very me thing. So I don't want to impose that.
I agree with you,
other people, right? I want to be very clear.
I think just like it goes back to like what Cole is saying, which is what you do with your anger, right? It's what comes after that matters, not what happens in the moment. Which is why. What the heck is that? What has happened? Hello?
What was
Did anyone else hear something, or was that just me?
I
heard
did.
it.
It sounded like a
it.
Discord soundboard. I mean,
what?
There was that,
Perfect.
and I don't. You got
Okay,
what
but
the heck?
something else happened too, but I won't.
I forgot what I was saying.
Anyway.
But,
All right. Anyway,
Okay.
What was I saying?
It's haunted. The VC's haunted, guys.
Oh,
Holy shit.
It's
PMC Trilogy is haunted the VC.
Oh my god! But yeah, it's what you do with your anger, right? That matters most, which is why like I don't care about showing my anger, because my anger is always like productive. I have maybe had like one or two like unproductive anger outbursts where I was like full tilt angry, right? Because I think there's a difference between being angry and being like livid, like seeing red.
It's a constructive versus destructive response.
Yeah,
right?
like
For
I've
sure.
only
What you're
been like
getting at.
purely livid like twice on stream, and I know both of them. It was during a Smite game when I was trying to hit Masters. I was
And then
livid.
the other one
boy.
was certain lists.
Oh, is that when you broke your table?
That is my table is still broken to this day.
I remember you
It,
telling me.
it
That's
happened
so
like
fucking
a
fun.
month or two after I got this table for Christmas. I broke
Damn.
straight through it with my fist because I was very angry.
That's
And then the other
fucking
one
metal.
was in Frights, where it was an any
Oh,
percent.
Frights, yeah.
It was when we were all chasing the sub 23, and I was about to skip 53, and if I completed that run, I would have had like a 23 4x versus Mortals like 58.
shit.
Like that run was, I still think it's probably my
yeah.
best executed run. Like that, like failed at the end, like because that was like near like pure optimal.
It was
Frights at the point.
Mastermind, right?
No, it was
No,
Lido
it was
skip,
Lido skip.
which is why I saw red. Lido skip, for those unfamiliar, is one of the easiest tricks in the game, and I messed it up for 17 seconds. Yes, I still know the number. And I lost the 23-minute time because of that. So that was the only other time where I was like livid. That's in one of my PBs. It's probably on my channel somewhere, but like,
Yeah.
I think that kind of
So
anger.
where did the
I
broken
think it's
controller come from? Was that after you? Oh, that was when you got under 25 in this, right?
I don't think I've ever broke a controller.
You broke an Xbox controller at some point.
Yeah, I remember this.
Oh yeah,
too.
I spiked it. Yeah. But that was like a pop off. That was a pop off spike. That
Yeah.
wasn't an anger spike.
Yeah,
I
that
haven't,
was-
Well,
I
there
haven't
was
broken
the-
controller out of rage.
That was one of your more expensive pop-ups.
I do remember the time when
it's
I
a
was
$20
watching
Xbox
you.
remote, but
When I was watching you grind 100% in Frights recently, when you like hit the table, you like punched your table twice, but that was like over pretty quickly.
oh yeah, I mean that's like
yeah.
casual Nestani stream, like on a Tuesday. You'll just hear me. You'll just see me
On a
punch the shit out of a
Tuesday.
table. You know?
Jesus!
But like that's not like livid because it's a controlled hit. Though, like because
Oh,
I
okay.
remember breaking through my table and I don't want to do that again. So
Yeah,
those
that's
hits,
fair.
if you ever notice, like whenever you see me do it again, because I will be doing that shit again. If you notice, I always look to the right, and then when I hit on like a leg of the desk, so I can't go
Oh
through.
yeah, like you actually.
So
yeah, okay,
like I
that's good.
aim and then I hit it. So it's always
Aim
like
particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like just to
Yeah.
wrap it up though, like I think like if you like spiral and you're livid and it's like all encompassing and then like you start like I think here's the thing, what would have made your pop off bad in my eyes, Jax, is if after you did that stomp thing, if then you followed it up like turning people like fuck you, and you were like doing that and you were getting up in
Well,
people's faces.
here's the
That's
thing
different.
I
But,
forgot.
like,
Well,
you
here's
getting
the
up and
thing I
walking
forgot to
around and
mention.
being like I don't know. I
Some
think
people were. I almost knocked a couple people over on the way. That's
Oh,
part of it
okay.
too. I almost
That'll
ran a
do
couple
it.
people over.
That'll
Like,
do it
that's-
too. Yeah.
I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Like right.
Yeah.
Like it's like
a little different, sure. You know,
people were like trying to stop me. Right. Like
yeah,
that's.
I can't.
and
Yeah, I
was
can't.
like
I
shrugging
can't argue
people off.
against that one. Yeah,
They were trying to
Yeah, it's-
congratulate me, and I just wouldn't let people touch me.
well,
that's not
That-
it.
yeah,
The optics on that is
Eh.
a little weird.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll give
It
a little
is,
back.
right?
Yeah,
But I also think
Yeah.
that it's still just
It was
a
one of
pop-off.
those kind of you had to be there sort of things. I don't even fully. I honestly blacked out through a lot of it. I'm gonna be real,
Yeah.
but like,
I mean, the
Yeah.
big thing here, right, is that I think we can all agree is that like as long as you're not being a fucking downer, right?
Yeah.
It's like that is, I think, the real big thing is that when you bring the mood of something down entirely, and that sort of like permeates what's going on, because like. I'm not talking about you, dude.
Okay,
So,
all right. I'm just saying, there's a lot of targeted attacks at me this episode. Like, as long as you don't like get so angry,
No.
you bring down the entire mood. I'm like, hey
No,
man, look, that's just every other stream. What do you want?
I mean, it's one of those things, right, where, for example, like, I mean, for streamers too, streamers have to understand that even if you're a speedrun streamer, you don't necessarily get paid to PB. You get paid to be entertaining. That's why people come to watch you. You know, like, I'm sure that some Super Mario 64 runners understand that, you know, the reason that they have a job is because of this game that everybody watched or like everybody played when they were like 5 years old or whatever. And that's what people come to see, and they come to see somebody be good at it. But above all, they probably come to just watch the game. And if the person that's on the left or right side of that feed is a downer, They don't really care about what's going on. You could get a world record, and you know, if the whole time you're just like fucking murder face like the whole fucking time, nobody's gonna really want to watch that.
Shouts
like,
to Ouija, and people do watch Ouija. I hate to blow up your whole point right now, but
I mean, that's fine. Well, here's the thing, right? Is that there is an exception to every rule. Number one.
okay.
This is why
He
I was
just hit me with
making
that
the joke I did
30-year-old
earlier.
response right there.
This is why I made the joke.
34-year-old, actually. Thanks.
This is why I made the whole bit about like the joke about me just making a shitload of money off of like porn games. Is because like
Yeah.
Why are we
you
back
will
to
just
this?
like well
Where are we going?
my whole hold on.
I never did I
It's
think
just
that
like-
Jaxler. Never did I think that Jaxler would be the one bringing it back to the Goon Squad. Okay,
I
like
just want
But
to
it's
point
just
out,
like-
in this whole podcast lifespan,
There's just
Jax has
such a
brought up
dis-
sex more than any of us.
it's true.
All
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is that there's such a split between like what actually matters in life and what people are actually paid a shitload of money for. You know
yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
true. Yeah.
Like, is anyone
mean,
gonna
they're-
remember you for? I mean, like maybe they will, but like
I'm sure
you know,
people
at
will
the end
remember
of the
Dark
day,
Side
you push
Phil.
buttons in Mario 64. What else
Yeah.
have you done? And you
That's
know,
true.
obviously I don't know any of these people, so they could be
Well,
they could be saving us. They could be
They
curing
work
cancer
with
for all I know.
Habitat for Humanity. You monster.
Exactly, right? And I wouldn't know, right? But like, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
I always get, you know,
I should have brought up any other game. That
ahead,
was my
Cole.
mistake.
like why are you know, at some point it's just like, why are you know, at the end of the day it's button pushing, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, there's only
Yeah.
and this has always been a thing with, you know, speedrunning, and I feel like fighting games has this issue too, where it's kind of hard to make, you know, content for this stuff, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of have to be the content. In a
Yeah.
lot,
I mean,
you know, it's and
It's one of those
that's a lot of
things.
internet things, right? But like, I don't know, if you're gonna just be a miserable human being, like that will only take you so far.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like Dark
I
Side
have
Phil,
been this
but-
close to fuck. There's someone I'm trying to desperately avoid name drop.
Go ahead,
because
Cole.
I'm gonna get my
not.
Cole's
Go
gonna.
for it, Cole.
Cole has wanted to
Okay.
say something for a while.
I've got 2 points. One point is that I think
Uh-oh.
for a lot of people, like, no, don't. This is not. I hope this isn't an uh-oh statement.
Go ahead.
No, you were just clearing your
People
throat. I
either
was worried.
say no. People either see like people being mad as like a really funny thing,
Yeah.
or people seeing mad as like, oh my god, I feel like I should help like this
Yeah.
person or something.
Mm.
And that's why like when some people are like, just think about like next run, you're gonna like now you have a free split with tons of time save, and like that bugs me. But at the same time, I try
Like,
and
I
not
understand
to be like
it,
a total dickwad towards them, because it's like they're trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? But the second point is that I think that this almost sort of whole emotional regulation, or like kind of emotional drive for like competitiveness, is probably, after a lot of thinking about it for a long time, is why I really don't speedrun anymore. Is because of that very reason. Like it got to a point where like I just was angry, not from like drumming it up, you know, let's be a little dramatic, let's be a little goofy, let's just like, if I mean I got some steam building up, we might as well just like, you know, let it all out, whatever.
Bend it out. Yep.
It eventually got to the point where I was just like, I'm just mad all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
it stopped, probably
and at
stopped
this
being
point-
fun, right? Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it stopped being fun in the process.
I will
And-
also say, just because I've said this to you before, but I just think that I still don't agree with your belief on yourself with that, because I feel like you just had that one ancillary experience with NLA, and I really do feel from the bottom of my heart, as if you just ran other games, you wouldn't feel that negative feeling towards those games. I think it was just that specific scenario with all those specific things
no.
surrounding it. Because there was a lot more buildup than just you being upset that you didn't get your PB, right? And we're not going to talk about it.
Well,
but
yeah,
like there's a lot more factors.
This
going
isn't the
into it.
only factor, but it's one of the main factors why, like, I kind of stepped away from doing that kind of competitive activity.
Well,
but
my
I
thing
mean,
is, it doesn't
that-
have to be competitive. Speedrunning doesn't have to be competitive.
Well, I mean, intrinsically competitive too. Like there was a
Versus
point where I
yourself.
reached where I was just like, I don't even give a fuck about beating my own time, because honestly, I could get any time in the world in that game and I could not give a shit. Like I could get a task time.
Interesting.
Which is like, and I wouldn't care.
Fair enough.
But that just happened to coincide with a bunch of other beliefs that I had too. Like, I mean, I've talked about this on like streams and stuff before, but I don't even like, I feel guilty playing video games now, which it could be a conversation for an entire other podcast, but like, I don't know. I think it's very interesting how like this topic of like anger and emotions, like really stacks with other things. And that's how it can go over the top or anything like that. So
I think it's one of those things too, where like we see an overcorrection, right? Where like people are so afraid of negativity that now like, you know, toxic positivity is really the meta for a lot of public facing things.
Oh, and
so
brain just
as a result,
humongous grin on his face.
I'm not going to go into it because we do not have time. But
no, we don't.
People with toxic positivity, I want to strangle them. It's one of my least favorite things on the internet.
I literally heard the hate voter from a mile away.
Yeah, no. So I think it's one of those things where, like, you know, toxic positivity is such this pervasive thing, and people are always like, "Oh, come to my stream or watch my YouTube for comfy vibes and a good time and some nice, you know, chill atmosphere." Like if I took a shot,
I hate your vibes. I hate your vibes. Like, I hate your comfiness. Shut up. You don't need it. Like if you're truly a comforting streamer, you don't need to market yourself as such. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Don't you just want to chill while someone just wanders around their Minecraft world? I mean, come on, that's good vibes.
Like one of the biggest compliments somebody ever gave me was not describing me as somebody like comfy or chill or whatever. They said, I feel like I'm in an arcade watching somebody play a game that they're really good at. It's just instead of like, you know, Space Invaders or something, it's Devil May Cry, you know, and that's kind of like the vibe that they got from my stream. I was like, bro, that is tight. That is awesome. Like,
I mean, I think that's the best compliment for any streamer. It's just like, hey, you're really good for being on my second monitor while I do something else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that's what streamers are. Your second monitor entertainment, right? Like some people can be primary monitor, but go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say I didn't get a compliment as cool as that, but you know I've had comments before of hey like you know you're a really chill streamer, you know, chill vibes, and I'm like the least chill person on the planet. Like and this is someone with a lot of
on your stream you're pretty chill
issues. I guess, but it's like I'm such. If you've ever met me in real life, I am the least chill person of all time. I am
you're not.
I'm just way too much, and probably a lot of that is due to social anxiety and just the way that it manifests. But I don't know. It's weird. Because in a weird way, when I'm like on stream is a lot more like who I am, and when I'm around other people in real life, that is like the least like me that I am, which is weird.
I mean, I was about to say that like you are very different in real life than you are on stream, because on stream you're pretty like reserved, but it's also just like on stream you're like you're don't take this the wrong way, but you're like not a streamer, you're a gamer, right? Yeah, like you game on stream, like which is like. I mean, you and me are basically the same. We game on stream. Like sometimes sometimes I get in a streamer mode, and sometimes you get in a streamer mode, but like. Out of 10 streams, we might have like one streamer mode time, like for like an hour or two, and then we're back to gaming.
Yeah, my first stream back from ETNA being a very prime example of that.
Yeah.
But then other days it'll just be like yesterday, where I just played Frog Monster for 4 hours, not even speedrunning. It was just I like said maybe 20 words max.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it was great because I don't know.
I wish I could have tuned in, but I had to go to sleep.
Yeah. Bro streams at like 2 a.m. Anyway, Cosmic, you're about to say something.
So
I'm just all messed up. But
you're good, man.
Go ahead.
I really enjoy your streams, is what I will say. So what I was gonna say is that I think because of now, like the way that a lot of people have sort of curated the way that they act public facing, resulting in stuff like, you know, everybody has to be quirky social media personality. And that's sort of like what the meta is, you know, or whatever. When somebody sort of deviates from that in either an unhealthy or healthy way, but we'll go with healthy for, you know, for the sake of the argument here. When somebody expresses something that might deviate from that, as Cole said, people probably feel this need to like correct that in their eyes or be like, you know, oh, well, this is not what I'm supposed to be seeing. You know, like this is, you know, maybe not something that I should be seeing because of this is what has been policed. So like kind of self-policed among people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people don't want to be like super angry publicly or they don't want to be upset or anything because again, they feel like they'll be a downer or whatever. And I'm not, you know, of course, trying to say that like you should bottle everything up or whatever, right? And that's what I don't mean when I say be like, don't be a downer. I don't mean like, don't show any sort of negative emotion or whatever, obviously. But it's one of those things where I think just because of the way that people have to carry themselves in order to feel like they're either being taken seriously or feel like people will enjoy watching them or something, when they deviate from that, other people, whether or not they find it, you know, like they want to help or they want to just make that person feel better so they can continue watching the stream or feel like they can continue watching the stream. There's a lot to unpack there, I feel like, because it is so common at this point. Because you can go to pretty much most streams anymore and everybody's kind of trying to do mostly the same thing. I mean, it's even one of those things too now where like, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. Like,
But you know what else is the same thing, guys?
It's a lot.
hitting the like and the subscribe button. That's the
subscribe
same
button,
thing you
yeah.
should be doing because that's the end of this episode.
To wrap it up, to give the TLDR, it's like, just don't be a down. Like, I don't want to say be yourself because that doesn't work for everybody.
What if your self
Right.
sucks? Then don't be that.
Yeah,
True.
probably not. Like,
Be
you know,
prepared
if
to grow.
you're
But also,
yeah,
go ahead.
if you're like Ricky Gervais, don't be yourself. Never do that. So, but
I fucking hate that guy. Exactly. I hate
So-
Ricky Gervais the way that Cole hates the Nats in his room.
Yeah, hates
that
the
guy's such
Nats.
a
I got
fucking
two.
piece of
I got
shit.
two this podcast.
Yo,
But I will-
comment down below if you also hate Ricky Gervais. I think he's a fucking cum dumpster of a human being. Anyway, go back to where you were going.
so
Yeah, wrap up your
whoa.
point because we need to get the fuck out of here.
So I was
I
gonna
think you already
say,
wrapped
just-
up your point in your statement before, but go
I
ahead.
mean, I probably did, but just to reiterate, you know, anger can be a gift and it can also be something that turns you into something you don't want to be. And the difference between medicine and poison is in the dose. So
It's a tool.
make sure you
Poetic.
understand the way to channel that productively.
And if you want to kill
And
us,
also,
like the
fuck
video
Ricky
a lot.
Gervais.
And if you don't want to kill us, subscribe. And then that'll cover our bases. So,
Like the video if you want to put a bullet in Ricky Gervais' head.
alrighty. And
Don't
speaking of
do
bullets,
that.
we're gonna leave the podcast.
No.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day
No.
on that very positive note.
Oh boy.